Good afternoon. There have been some recent incidents around vehicle break-ins and carjackings that have been really troubling over the course of the past couple of weeks. We're seeing these criminal acts in multiple parts of the city. They victimize our residents. They undermine quality of life in the neighborhoods where these actions happen as well. Now, I've discussed this with our police department, and I know that the police department is taking action. You'll hear from MPD today, too. There's a dedicated team of police officers that have been mobilized to stop these incidents and to catch those who are responsible for perpetrating these incidents against people in our city. As arrests are made, I'm going to call on strict accountability for those criminal actions. So when the police do catch the individuals who are responsible for these actions, I am going to call on strict accountability for these actions to be held, for those perpetrators to be held accountable. I'm also calling on the public to be involved. Each and every quarter, I go with the police and we do a quarterly report on crime trends in Milwaukee, and I constantly say that everybody's got a role to play in public safety in Milwaukee. And so again, I'm calling on the public to be a part of the solution here too. So I want suspicious activity reported to the police. If you see break-ins happening, I want you to call 911. I want you to call 911 immediately. If you have any other information to share, please call our non-emergency police line at 414-933-4444. You can also call Crime Stoppers as well. I want parents to intervene as well in their kids' lives if they have any indication that they may be involved in some of the activity that we're talking about today. Because we can all take steps to make sure that valuables are not left in the car, and that that make our cars less of a target for people that perhaps want to break into them. And if you're a gun owner, please do not leave your gun in your car. Let me repeat that. If you are a gun owner, do not leave your weapon in your vehicle. Thieves are often looking for weapons to steal and then go and perpetrate crimes in other parts of the city. So please, I can't emphasize that enough. Don't leave your guns in the vehicle. I certainly do feel for the victims of these crimes. There are so many people who have had their cars windows smashed in, or who have had their cars taken from them, that are going to feel that when they go to their cars from here forward. That's something that nobody should have to deal with, that nobody should have to experience. So I certainly give my condolences to those folks who have had those sort of incidents happen to them. They certainly don't deserve to be targeted either. I'm also concerned about an escalation in this type of crime. Last Tuesday morning, an off-duty Milwaukee police officer exchanged gunfire with suspected car thieves. And I'm hearing about other situations in which violence is escalating as well. So let's all work to put a stop to this. All of us can do this together. It's the police, it's the public, it's elected officials as well, community groups working together to solve these issues. I'm going to have Inspector David Feldmeier join us in just a moment. But first and foremost, I'm going to have Milwaukee County Council President Jose Perez to come to the mic. Mr. President.
Thank you, Mayor. On behalf of the council, I've been speaking to many of my colleagues. I want to echo many of the statements that the mayor has already said about everyone working together, collaborating, coordinating our communication. We're seeing an uptick in all our neighborhoods with these nuisance crimes that mean different things for different people. A broken window can mean trauma for someone if it's going to cost you $1,500 to replace every time you do it, if it affects the rest of your vehicle. The carjackings, the armed robberies, even we have an uptick on the south side with some shootings. And so we're asking everyone to get involved. The Common Council is committed through our Public Safety Committee to bring some of these other players together. We understand that we have some prolific repeat offenders that we have to hold accountable. We must hold accountable. We need the rest of our partners to come to the table and work with us. And we're asking the public, step up your game in contacting the police. We keep hearing that they're not calling, and we want you to call. We need you to call. It's necessary to call if we're going to address this issue. So we have to pull this together, and we want the community to also contact They're elected officials when they are calling police. I've asked my constituents, if you call the police department 2 or 3 or 4 times in a week, let us know. We want to follow up with those calls, make sure you're getting the best service possible. We have several events that are going on in the city. All these events are peaceful. They have a great time at these community, ethnic events. And then when people leave, they come into the neighborhood and they find places to illegally gather and have parties on parking lots. We want to stop that also. We need the community to call immediately when they see these things occurring. Or more recently, some of these traffic circles where people are spinning their vehicles around and people are jumping out of the way. Before they form to 50, 75, 100, 150 people, please call. Let's deal with this immediately. We need the community's help, and I appreciate all of you being here. Thank you.
Thank you. Inspector.
Thank you all for joining us. The Milwaukee Police Department would like everyone who has been affected by these crimes to know that we are addressing them. We have several special deployments that are being sent out into multiple districts where these crimes have had the greatest impact. We are following up on several leads in the downtown area related to carjackings, auto thefts, and we are constantly looking for more information. If you know anything, if you see anything, please contact the police. As the mayor alluded to, you can contact 224-8477, which is our Crime Stoppers, or you can call any district station. Some of the things that the mayor had talked about being safe and being aware of your surroundings. If you have the opportunity to park a vehicle in a garage, please use it. If you have to park on the street, well-lit areas, talk to your neighbors. Let them understand what's happening, where your vehicles are, where your property is. Create that sense of community again so that we can put a stop to some of these crimes. So we've increased patrols in several of the neighborhoods. I'm not going to go into specifics, but there are varying levels of observation and presence that each district station is putting forth. As far as the community and using those types of groups, it's fine if you're going to be observant and you're going to report what you see. I would caution people not to engage. As the mayor had alluded to as well, one of our residents engaged and ended up being shot at. So these individuals can be dangerous as well. And so I would caution those groups to be observant and to report what you see.
Feldmeier, you talked about these special deployments. I know you can't get into a lot of details, but hearing from people specifically on the east side, and they say they never see police up and down the street. Are you having officers on foot? Are they on bikes? What can you tell these people to reassure them?
There are multiple different venues that officers are using, whether it's on bike, foot, squad patrol. There may be officers that you don't see that are in plain clothes. So there's a lot of work that's being done, and you're not always going to see all of it, but we will definitely follow up on any information that you have, and we'll put forth our best effort to bring people to justice.
You said you have
What does the data show? And how many cars have been broken into so far this year? How many arrests have you made? Is that up? Is that down compared to years past?
So we had a 31% increase in entries to autos from last year to this year in a 30-day comparison, if that gives you an idea of what we're dealing with. As far as arrests, we have not had any arrests related, but like I said, we have followed up on several leads, and we should be making some progress shortly.
Do you believe it's groups of kids, young adults, or just a bunch of individuals with these crimes?
It's in many cases it's groups, and from the descriptions that we get, it's young people, mid-teens, late teens, and early 20s.
I mean, how frustrating is this for you? We're talking about what happened in a hospital garage this week. Allegedly a 15-year-old that was supposed to have a monitor on that had 2 prior incidents where he was involved in a stolen car. How frustrating is that for officers to see these crimes allegedly committed by kids that have done it before?
It's very frustrating, especially when we come time and time again to these news conferences, and we have to keep continuing to tell people to be aware. We have to continuously tell people that we're working on things when we know that there may be a failure somewhere in our criminal justice system. And we are just one part of it. We will work with our criminal justice partners to make sure that it becomes as effective as we possibly can to keep this city safe.
I just
Talk about that. I mean, you talked about having conversations with the public safety committee and juvenile court system.
Yeah, I mean, we know parts of it are failing. We got to bring the juvenile court system to the table. I've already been in conversation with the DA's office, and we have to. What's working now, what's happening now isn't working. We have to fix it. We're at a tipping point, and we're talking about prolific offenders, repeat offenders. We have to create a better accountability method for all the entities, probation, parole, the court system, everyone involved. We got to step it up, and we got to do something differently. It can't be business as usual, because that's just gotten us to the point we're at now. And we need everyone's help to do it.
I was going to say, and a key part of that, as I've mentioned, on more than one occasion, and especially at our quarterly update reports, the key part of that is parents. I mean, think about this. When a young person, right, if we have established that, not all, but perhaps some of these are young people that are doing these activities, they're very likely going home and sitting on somebody's couch. I was really, really upset. I was beyond upset when there was an incident several weeks ago where some young people took a woman's car and then got on the freeway and then drove that vehicle north, got stuck in a construction zone, disobeyed officers' commands, tried to back the vehicle up to turn around to continue on this fleeing of police. Police ultimately had to open fire, and this teenage young woman ended up losing her child 6 months into the pregnancy. What upset me the following day or days later was that there was an interview with the father of this young man, this what I presume to be a teenager. And the dad is kikiing and ha-haing and laughing up, when his son stole somebody's car. And nobody's talking about the victim and how she's gonna feel when she's trying to go back to her car. Nobody's talking about that. Well, we need to talk about that. And for parents, specifically parents like that, right? Like, he's laughing, saying that I didn't buy him a car. Nobody in the house bought him a car. I saw that he had one. Ha ha ha, he. That's not funny. It's not funny. And now he's been shot at, and this young girl done lost her child. And the lady who had her car stolen, she's gonna think about that every time she goes to her car. And that's not right. So the very first part of this is parenting. It's parenting, right? Before these kids, and know that not every single incident is a young person, but when it is, we have got to make sure that when they leave the house, that they know better, that they're representing their family, their parents, when they walk out of the house. Like, as the president said, what's happening now just isn't working. And for those parents who are taking a lackadaisical approach to parenting, like, you cannot offload your responsibility as a parent onto society. Everybody's got a role to play here. The police have their role. The council has its role. I have my role. The district attorney, the prosecutors, they have their roles. Parents have the biggest role of all. They got the biggest role of all. And we got to act like it.
The inspector just said that they have a dedicated team to this at MPD. From what I heard, I apologize.
Sure.
If no arrests have been made, is it effective then?
Well, look, just because there hasn't been an arrest made to date doesn't mean that there won't be arrests made, right? Just because you haven't had success immediately doesn't mean you stop, because those folks are still out there and they're still trying to cause mayhem in the city. So I want the police to continue on in their efforts. I want the police to continue to patrol, just like I want the public to do their part too. When you see somebody doing something in your neighborhood that's awry, causing death or carnage or destruction, I want you to call 911. If you see other things happening, if you have tips to report, please report that to us as well so we can have the police to follow up. All right? There's still work to do. I think the Milwaukee Police Department is committed to doing that work, and I want them to continue on doing that work. Well, look, yeah, we do have many goals for the city. Absolutely, 100%. As you can see, we take this very seriously, right? We're working at this. In any community that you go to, like, let's not, I don't want to, make it seem as if the only time an incident like this can or would occur is in cities. Like, that's just not the case. I mean, you can go to any community and you will see or experience incidents where there may be violence or where thefts may occur. But just know, for the people who call the city of Milwaukee home, or the people who will call the city of Milwaukee home in the future, that we're committed to public safety in this city. That's why in the budget that I proposed for 2024, we work to make sure that we maximize investments in the police department, so we can recruit more folks to go into this field, to make sure that they're protecting and serving in this community. And I will continue to do that as long as I'm mayor.
Mr. Mayor, do you believe that there should be any extra accountability for landlords or owners of private parking lots? Power Parking is a company that owns at least, roughly a dozen parking lots across the city of Milwaukee and other cities. Do you have a message for people who are using their land to park on in terms of safety or accountability or anything like that?
I'm not familiar with the landlord that you're talking about, but the president seems to have some familiarity. You want to comment on that?
Well, I will tell you that for the last 2.5 years, I've sent letters out to property owners in the 12th Automatic District that have larger parking lots and asked them to please secure them when your business is closed, right? This isn't happening necessarily when they're open unless you have a fast food restaurant that has a drive-through. We've asked them, secure your lots. The council and the mayor don't want to legislate this. This is private property. But if you can't control your parking lots and they become opportunities for mayhem, illegal gatherings, and in some cases, we had 2 years ago a mass shooting, we will do that. We don't want to, but we will. So your parking lot should be secured when you're not in business. If you have a drive-through, leave the drive-through open, secure the rest. But it shouldn't be an illegal gathering, an opportunity for illegal gathering. And we want businesses to work with us. We've asked them. Some businesses are actually calling DPW, renting or paying for barriers so that no one can get into their parking lots. We appreciate that. We need more of that. We're asking property owners to take some responsibility. Don't make it easy.
We have one more question.
Sergeant Feldmeier, we heard from the police union this morning that said MPD is about 75 detectives short right now. How are your resources in fighting these crimes?
I don't know necessarily that our resources are inviting the crimes. The individuals who are choosing to make those decisions and to create that situation.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.